Be careful what you wish for. That's a quote from Tyler Herro from earlier today on his Instagram stories. We're going to break down what it means and if it has anything to do with his relationship currently with this Miami Heat organization as we enter a ramped up offseason for this Miami Heat team. And we're going to break it all down on this episode of Heat Digest right now. So let's get to it. Let's break down Tyler Herro's cryptic message, as that's really the best way to label it, as it seems like it could definitely be holding some weight and not just be something that he produced on the internet and didn't really put any mind behind. Now, this was the original tweet. This was the original photo, I should say, from Legion Hoops on Twitter. They took a screenshot of Tyler Herro's Instagram story in which Tyler Herro posted and then reposted it on Twitter along with a bunch of other media outlets, really covering the idea that Tyler Herro could possibly be disgruntled. He could be not very happy with the current situation going on down in Miami. Now, this picture, if you're not currently looking at the screen, is literally just a black photo, as a pitch black photo with the only words, the only context saying, "Be careful what you wish for." That is, again, the end of the quote. That is the only quote on the entire photo. And again, it is from Tyler Herro. This was posted on Twitter at 3:24 Eastern Standard Time, and it says it's about 45 minutes old. So we can assume 2:40, 2:35, 2:40-ish Eastern Standard Time was when Tyler Herro went on Instagram and made this post. I quickly, after seeing the tweet from Legion Hoops, ran to Instagram, ran to Tyler Herro's account, obviously No Limit Hero, as it's obviously the verified account for Tyler Herro, and I did not find that exact post, but I did find this one, a screenshot of his music where it's a song produced by Gunna, and it's labeled and it's titled "Be Careful What You Wish For." Again, a song by the rapper Gunna. So, not finding the original post, if you will, from Tyler Herro, where he wrote it out and he posted this, and then quickly, it seemed like he quickly not covered it up, but quickly replaced it with an alternative version of his message. Now, is it a way for him to really try to get his point across and then feel like he's going to catch some flack, it's going to catch some attention, it's going to get some minds to really turn and really get some ideas going and try to build up a narrative that Tyler Herro may not be happy, that Tyler Herro has heard the outside news or even news from inside the Miami Heat organization that he hasn't really lived up to the potential. He hasn't gotten the job done, especially when we needed him most. And now we could possibly be on the verge of dealing someone like Tyler Herro and hope to possibly bring in another high-level player in order to replace him, or even just not even a high-level player, but another group of either assets and players or draft picks, whatever it may be, in order to really dump some of the cap that he's currently requiring, as well as improving this Miami Heat team while getting rid of a player that is good on paper but has not really shown themselves to be a high 1A-esque type of player for a high-quality team in Miami. Now, again, we are not sure if that is the case. And again, all the information we have surrounding Tyler Herro, excluding these posts on Instagram and via his Instagram story, is when Pat Riley had his postseason press conference, where he did mention Tyler Herro, but he didn't slam him by any means. He did call him fragile. And again, when this quote originally came out, I did pitch the idea in theory that maybe he's not just referring to physically. Maybe it's something mentally. Maybe it's something emotionally. Maybe he's just not a very tough person. I'm not going to call him soft by any means. He's a professional athlete. He plays the game of basketball for a living, and he's pretty damn good at it. Again, I don't believe he's fit in all that well in Miami, at least with the roster currently constructed. But again, maybe Pat Riley was leaning towards something more than just due to the fact that Tyler Herro doesn't play every game of the season. He doesn't even get remotely close to it. And this past season, in 23-24, the season that just ended for the Miami Heat after 5 games to the Boston Celtics, that will break down in just a second, as Tyler Herro was a focal point of the losses in those seasons. But again, Herro only played in 42 games this year. He started in 40 of them, obviously, after he came back from the knee/foot injury he was dealing with for, it felt like, an eternity during the middle of this season. He came back. He came off the bench for those 2 games. Those are the 2 games he did not start. But again, he only played in 42 games out of the 82-game season, really missing just under half the games played this season. Last year, he played 67. The year before that, in 21-22, he played 66. In the 2 years, his freshman and sophomore seasons in the NBA, his freshman season, he played 55 games starting in 8 of them, and in his sophomore year, he played in 54 games, starting in 15 of them. He has not played over 66 games in a season yet in his career. And again, 66 games played in an 82-game season is pretty good. You're only missing out on 16 games. But again, if you want to be that key piece on a key NBA team that's trying to make a push at an NBA championship while being one of the better players on that team, it seems like you need to be around. You need to be active. You need to have the best ability, which is availability. And if you don't have that, not only are you in and out of a lineup that one is going to need you and require you to not only score the basketball, but be present and play a good brand of basketball overall. But then when you are in and out of the lineup, you cause inconsistency, you cause a influx in just different lineups like we saw this past season as we led the league in different lineups used this season. But again, it's just, I don't know if Tyler Herro's trying to send like a little message here with his little cryptic stuff on Instagram stories, but again, you're not really the guy that has the ability to go out and say that. Yes, do you have the ability to, when you are healthy, when you are capable of playing the game of basketball at a high level due to being healthy, yes, you have the ability, I will say, to score 20 points per game. Absolutely, without a doubt. As we see this through over the years, over your 5-year career, you average 18 points a game for the entirety of your career. You've averaged 20 or more points in the last 3 years, 20.8 this year, 20.1 last year, and 20.7 in 21-22. And then in your freshman and sophomore years, obviously 13.5 and increasing to 15. So you've hit that 20-point per game mark, but you've kind of plateaued if you'd want to really have an argument here. You haven't drastically increased your play on the offensive end. Obviously, we've seen the assist really remain good at just at 4, if not just over 4 per game. But again, you aren't running the show all that well and effective when you are on the floor. And to argue that, you're not on the floor all that much. With the biggest problem with Tyler Herro is his inability to stay on the floor. Obviously, we can have the discussions about his inability to defend and the liability he does become on the defensive end. But again, it's not even a conversation we can have if he's not on the floor. If you don't play the game of basketball that you are paid very handsomely, $29 million. Last year you made $27 million. Next year you're expected to make $29 million. The following year you're supposed to make $31 million. And then 26-27, the last year of this deal with Miami, you're expected to make $33 million. You signed a 4-year, $120 million deal, and you're guaranteed, you were paid phenomenally. You are paid extremely well. You're paid like one of the top players in the entire National Basketball Association, and you're not even the best player on the Miami Heat. Now, I know you're throwing out these messages like, be careful what you wish for, and now I'm definitely kind of leaning towards the idea that you deleted that and then posted this and hope to cover it up. The idea that you're trying to show or throw out these just discreet but effective and emotional, really, like, feelings and ideas towards the public without intentionally tagging the Miami Heat or tagging Pat Riley. Obviously, Pat Riley probably doesn't run his own Instagram account. He's not going to see it unless an executive, a player, a coach, someone involved in the staff does see it and then brings it to him. But again, it just kind of feels weird to me that you're out here kind of making the demands, if you will, that you'll be sorry for or be careful what you wish for, because obviously we mentioned the thing about Pat Riley saying he's fragile, but again, he didn't come out and say he's fragile emotionally. He's just fragile physically due to his inability to be as healthy as he needs to be to play these games for the Miami Heat. But again, are you really in a position to make these claims? Like, we went without Jimmy Butler. Obviously, we're not here to reap on the things that happened in the past, but again, it's the facts. We have to address it when having this conversation. We didn't have Terry Rozier. Okay, he had a neck problem. Neck injuries are nothing to play with. It's like an ACL injury, but even more significant. It's like a spinal injury. It's like a back injury. You do not mess around when you injure your neck. That's just not, don't lose your career or even years off your life to try to push through a neck injury. I know we needed Rozier. He would have been a great help in a series against Boston where we needed the help offensively. But again, you can't push through that. And then we have Jimmy Butler. He went down with the MCL sprain in his right knee against the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round of the play-in. He played the next 3 quarters like the toughest SOB alive, okay? No one should have been able to play, let alone Jimmy Butler, play through the next 3 quarters with a sprained MCL. That is a significant injury, and credit to Jimmy Butler. You are a tough individual for doing that. You cannot take that away from Jimmy Butler. I don't care if you like the things he says or not, but again, you cannot take away how freaking tough of a man that man is. For Tyler Herro, we got into a series after beating the Chicago Bulls, after losing to the Philadelphia 76ers in the play-in. And we then went on to play the Chicago Bulls, where we had to win or we would have went home. We won that game, and we took the 8th seed where we matched up against the Boston Celtics, where no one gave us a chance. Nobody. Even Heat fans, even players, or not players, but even people that covered the game of basketball and covered the Miami Heat even specifically really weren't giving us a chance. Yes, did we have a shooting chance, a punching chance, if you will? It's a different analogy, but yes. But did anyone really think we were going to push this at Series 7 and really make the Boston Celtics really do what they needed to do in order to like propel ourselves over the top and go to the next round to play the winner of Cleveland and Orlando? It wasn't likely. Like, we had a 2% chance, and that's really stretching. And that's not because we were a bad team. We just had so many injuries. Duncan Robinson was just coming back from a back sprain, or back discomfort. Jaime Jaquez Jr. was just coming back from a groin injury. Obviously, it was kind of about a month after that. But again, it takes a while to find your stride, especially when you're 22 years old in the first year of your NBA career. Then we take away Butler, you take away Rozier. Who are we left with? Who are we leaning on in this scenario? 2 guys. Bam Adebayo, who played a hell of a playoff series. He played a hell of a season. And then we had Tyler Herro. Tyler Herro, in 5 games, had 1 game in which he had a positive plus-minus, which, again, a skewed stat due to the fact that we played a team in Boston that really just had our number, had the ability to beat us, had their ability to get their redemption that was so sweet, as we've met 4 of the last 5 years. We all know the good stories, how we beat them year after year. That was not the case this year. And I'm here to blame Tyler Herro. Now, it's not fully Tyler Herro's fault by any means, because it's a team sport without a doubt. And in Game 2, when we won that game 111-101, Tyler Herro had his best game, without a doubt. He had 24 points, 14 assists, and 5 rebounds, while he shot 54.5% from 3 on 6 of 11 shooting from behind the three-point line, as well as 7 of 13 from the field overall, which is 53.8%. That is a phenomenal game. But here's the problem. That was the only appearance we got from Tyler Herro. In Game 1, we lose by 20. He had 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. He had 2 turnovers. He shot 30% from the field, 33% from 3. You're the number 1 option on this team. If you're not 1A, you're 1B behind Bam Adebayo. And at the fact that you play the guard position, we really rely on you to orchestrate the offense, whether you are a true point guard or not, whether you are a scoring guard or not. It's just the way it comes. You know why? Because you're the next man up, and you don't want to be a 6th man. You made these comments about coming off the bench, and that's not happening. You're a starter. Well, we need you. Be the starting point guard without Rozier, without Butler, with Duncan Robinson not being 100%. Like, step up. Play your role. Yes, in Game 2, you were phenomenal. It ended up propelling us to a win. You weren't the number 1 guy, because we did have Bam. We did have a slew of role players that hit their shots, and it propelled us to a win, as we made, 24 3-point shots in that Game 2 that really propelled us over a win in a game in Boston that we weren't supposed to win. Boston won or lost how many games at home this year? Like 6 all year long, if that. I might even be stretching it. But then it went on. Game 2 happened. That was after the Game 1 abysmal performance where we had 11 points from here on 42% true shot percentage. And you ended up shooting 30% from the field and 33% from the 3. We covered Game 2. It was his best game of the playoffs this past year. Game 3 comes around. We lose by 30. We lost by 20. We lost by 20. 15 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Guess what? 31% from the field. 33% from 3. And it gets better. The next game, he had 19 points. This is the second best game he had in this series. He had 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists with 5 turnovers. Plus minus of -8. He did shoot 47% from the field, which was drastically better than game 1, 3, and 5. But again, from 3, 2 of 6 from behind the three-point line, 33%, making 1 of 2 of his free throws. And then in the closeout game, in game 5, in Boston, we got our ass kicked. 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists from Tyler Herro. He shot 6 of 19 from the field, 31.5%. Not to mention 1 of 8 from behind the three-point line. You are not the guy to come out and say, be careful what you wish for. If that is what you're trying to say, if that's the message you want to get across, you can't say that. And you can say whatever you want. You have the freedom of speech, whatever. You cannot say that in the position you are currently in after the 5-game stretch we just watched you play in a series where we needed you more than ever. Were you fatigued? You only played 42 games in the regular season. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Now, for his career, here are his averages for the playoffs. He's a 14-point-per-game scorer over his career in the playoffs. This was his highest averages through the entire through his career in the playoffs, was 16.8 points per game, 5.4 assists, and 3.6 rebounds. His assists were above average for his career, at least. His rebounds were down for average, and his points were above average for his career in this past postseason. But again, not the greatest performance you've ever seen. For the shooting percentages, 38.5% on average for that 5-game series. Not great. And then that was from the field, and from behind the three-point line, 34.9% from behind the three-point line. Again, that was in this past 5-game series, which would be the entirety of this playoff run for the Miami Heat this past season. Again, it's interesting. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent here. It's a little bit of a longer video, but I just don't know how to feel about this. Tyler Herro, you had a chance. If you would have come out and you would have been the next man up, and you would have led the way and run that 2-man game with Bam Adebayo and really led the way for this Miami Heat team, and not even the sense, we could have lost in 5 games to the Boston Celtics. We could have went down, but we could have went down swinging with you leading the way, with you orchestrating the offense like you did in game 2. Yes, I know we had role players hitting shots at an outrageous clip, but you led the way, whether you like it or not. When the ball was in your hands, orchestrating the offense, getting to your spots, making the open ones, capitalizing on the defense that was lacking for Boston, that it seemed like a rarity, especially in that series, because it seemed like everything they did couldn't go wrong and everything we did couldn't go right. And that, I know it did feel like that. But again, as a 1A, if not 1A, 1B, and again, that is up for debate. Let me know down in the comments. Was Tyler Herro 1A or was he 1B in this past playoff run for this Miami Heat team without Rozier, without Butler, without 100% Robinson? Like, I don't know. I would love to wake up to trade news for this Miami Heat team if it involved Tyler Herro being moved for a bunch of assets. Not only would we get better due to the fact that we would open up a little bit of room on our rotation, but also I believe the assets we could get back, depending on the suitor, depending on the trade partner that we are involved with in this business deal, I believe we can definitely win this transaction. Again, Tyler Herro's not getting any cheaper. Next year he'll be owed $29 million, and it will only go up $2 million per year going on after that. So again, that'll be it for this episode of Heat Digest. I know it's a long one. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Tyler Herro in this entire situation. Do you think it was an encrypted message? Do you think he was just being emotional? Do you think he was just overthinking things? Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and what you guys like to see him traded. Do you guys think I'm overboard? Do you think I'm kind of just kind of beating a dead horse here? Do you guys think I'm kind of overboard? Just let me know down below what your thoughts are on Tyler Herro in this entire situation. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.